Know this about feeling not okay in the morning. Today I'm addressing the topic of not feeling okay in the morning. I've been a clinical psychologist for 8 years, and this is what I know. When I meet a client who tells me, when I wake up, I feel really tired and not ready to get going with my day, help me. They want to know what's wrong with them, and they assume something is, and what to do when it happens. In order to help my client have the knowledge to answer these questions, I'll usually start with talking with my client about what's normal. That it's normal to sometimes not feel okay, and that this can have many reasons. Not having this knowledge, or thinking that the correct way to feel is happy and energized all the time, can cause my clients to panic or worry when they experience that this is not the case. It's therefore often my job to educate on what's normal for people to feel and that we're not always feeling happy and well, and to help them prevent making it worse by engaging in excessive self-scanning or self-analysis when it happens. Sometimes we're tired, either due to inactivity recently or too much activity. I'll tell them that we cannot ensure that we're optimally functioning or feeling great all the time, and that lying in the morning, analyzing what caused why we're not feeling our best, is at best a waste of time. Lying and analyzing why we're not okay can cause us to enter a spiral of either regret or self-criticism, and will likely just strengthen our belief that something is wrong. When lying and analyzing, it looks a lot to the brain like we're partaking in ruminations. Rumination is common with depressive moods and are therefore likely to signal the brain that we're in a depressive state. That can produce some emotions and bodily signals that are common during depressive states, such as fatigue and sadness. Lying and thinking about what's wrong and looking into the past is likely to make us feel more hopeless. For some, this morning self-analysis episode will continue into a spiral of worrying about whether they can do what they need in the days to come, leading them to think about all the to-dos at once. For most, this will seem overwhelming, and they'll start to doubt their capabilities of functioning sufficiently that day. Further doubting and worrying is likely to come along with emotions of more hopelessness and urges to avoid or hide. Many will, in this situation, turn their attention inwards and try to feel how they're feeling. Most will do so in order to see if they're feeling okay. Usually when we do this, we're asking the question of, am I feeling not okay? And that's what we're trying to look for when self-scanning. As such, our attention will fall to the points in our body that confirms what we're looking for. Maybe we'll notice that we're tired, heavy in the body, or that our mind is sleepy or lacking motivation. We engage in this analysis or self-scanning for at least two reasons. One is likely that we're not aware of how this habit is making it more difficult for us to do what we need to do. We are unaware of how it just creates more difficulty for us when we analyze and self-monitor in the morning. Another reason might be found in the belief that many hold. A belief about that it's normal to feel good. In my experience, there's a common misconception that we should be feeling great all the time, and that if we don't, we're in the wrong somehow or not normal. But this is a misconception. Most people don't feel excellent all the time. In fact, most people don't notice or pay attention to how they feel. As a clinician, I find that the people who pay the most attention to how they're feeling are the depressed clients. It might not be causal, but it does seem to me that thinking a lot about feeling not okay and checking if we're feeling not okay might also be leading us to feel less okay and thinking that we're less okay. When we wake up in the morning, it's not the question of, do I feel excellent and great? That can have us lie there and think. It's the question of if we feel not up to the task and feel bad. Engaging in answering this question in the morning, instead of just getting up and busying our mind with whatever, will for most lead them to feel bad. And when we feel bad, it can seem more difficult to get up and do what we had planned for today. There are two beliefs that can be the main difficulties of how our morning success will be. The belief that it's normal to feel good, and the belief that we need to feel good in order to function. Of course, it's easier to do things when we feel good. When we feel good, we feel more like we want to do it and we feel like we have more energy. But it's also a misconception that we need to feel good to do things. We don't. We're able to move our arms and legs and use our brain independent of our mood. We are, in most cases, also able to do what we need in spite of being tired or lacking energy. For many who don't ask themselves how they are in the morning, they just get up and get started. They don't enter into an analysis of what they need to do and questioning themselves if they are up to it. They just get up and start with the first thing in their usual morning routine. If we skip the added attention to ourselves and our body and thoughts in the morning, we'll not notice if we're feeling off that day. This can help us as we don't enhance the feelings and thoughts any further. We don't need to find out how we are in order to get started with our day. Most don't, just because most people don't have a habit of lying and thinking and feeling in the morning. And others, like me, especially don't, because I know it's a waste of time, and how we feel has nothing to do with how we'll perform. If we believe that how we feel has an impact on how we perform, we'll tend to give up more easy or use this negative bias of I'm not feeling well, so I probably can't, to oftentimes not try. We do a lot of stuff every day without checking ourselves first. I often find that if people check with themselves or do analyses before, that they'll end up talking themselves out of it and convincing themselves that they can't. I sometimes recommend my clients to test it out. To test out their belief by abandoning them and see what happens. I'll give them the task to try and ban the morning analysis and just get up and do. Just to see how it goes. To see if they were able to get up and if it was easier or more difficult without having checked how they felt. And to follow up the experiment with just doing their day. 2. On purpose, skip the morning check and just do. And then after, they can see if they were able to do their day without knowing how they felt and without having analyzed how they felt on beforehand. If they find that not analyzing and not self-monitoring in the morning either made no difference or that it helped positively to have skipped it, I'll then ask them again about their beliefs. Do you need to know how you're feeling to go about your day? And do you need to feel a specific way in order to function? Does it matter how you feel in the morning? Do you have to pay attention to it, or can you just ignore it on purpose? To sum up, if you wake up feeling tired and unmotivated in the morning, try not to address it any further. Just get up and busy your mind with something and get on with your day. Leave the analysis alone. I think this is all we had time for. What was your takeaway from today's video? As always, feel free to take away the information you can use, if any, and leave the rest. Hopefully you found that today's topic made sense and I didn't waste your time. Please subscribe and like this video so my channel can grow. Take care and see you for the next one.